Welcome to today's video. As I promised in my last video, today we are going to study something about money. That is, you're going to discover that money has amazing character, and along with it are its secret rules. But before we delve into that, let me say that we all agree that nobody can communicate effectively with a foreigner unless he first masters the foreigner's language, or vice versa. It's the same when it comes to making money. Unfortunately, majority of people don't know this fact, with the sad consequence that most of us keep fumbling through life, not being able to create sufficient wealth or income to live comfortably and be independent of wants. I don't know about you, but I know that you may be already into one business or another, into a job, or you're wishing to start. If you are at that stage, the second stage to start, then you are fortunate because you would have sufficient background knowledge to help you do what you want to do with the hope of having success. So there are some facts we need to know. These underlying facts we need to know about money is intended to help you make money consistently. Let me break them down into two broad categories. The first category is the general fact about money. You can write that down. General fact about money. And the second category is the specific rules about money. So all these add up as we break them down and discuss each one after another. They add up to the unique or amazing character that money has. It adds up to the amazing rules, sacred rules about it that everybody wishing to get into business of making money one way or other, and he needs to know, she needs to know. So let's dive in now into the facts that you need to know. One, the general facts. One, we break this down into A, or you could, for convenience of recording, so you can refer to sometime later, you can say 1 or A. So, but let's say 1. One fact, the first to note is that money, although it's a tool, it behaves like human. It has character that the person dealing with it has to get acquainted with. You cannot get along with an individual when you do not truly understand him or her. Those few things about that make her herself, make him himself, you need to understand before you know how to get along with him. So point number 2, write down. Money has personality that you should align with. It has peculiar ways. It has certain things that make it up. And unless you align with that, it would be difficult to make any meaningful progress on the road to making money. Because like the Bible says, for those of you acquainted with the Holy Scriptures, there's a passage that asks, would two friends go together when they do not agree? That's the same thing with money. You can't make money, or money doesn't come to you when your character and that of money don't agree. They have to align to be able to make money. If you listen carefully and take notes, a lot of questions that may have occurred in your mind would be answered in the course of these lectures over time. So point number 3, money doesn't live anywhere, just anywhere, but it has specific residences or addresses, if you like. You see, everybody wishes to make money and present some efforts to make money. But what has not been known to many is that money is like an individual and has particular residences or specific addresses. I do not say, mark my word, I have not said address, but I said residences or addresses. Individuals don't live just anywhere, do they? So too with money. But in this case, they are specific. We shall explain this later. Point number 4 is that money has the secret rules that everyone pursuing it must observe in order to get to be ushered into the presence, into the palace of money. In other words, before you can get as much as you want, there are rules which we would talk about soon that you must understand, follow, keep the rules, and then you're right on your way to making as much money as you want. 5, point number 5, or E, money travels specific roads, not just any street. It has pathways. You see, aeroplanes don't fly on the land, on the ground. They don't fly on the sea except some particular ones for some particular purposes. But that's not what everybody knows. What about the train? The train travels on specific track. And vehicles travel best on tarmacs, tarred roads. So you see, so too money has specific roads. By specific roads is those kind of activities, those processes that must be followed. You need to discover this, follow it, and then you get to make as much money as you want. But with a minimal knowledge or no knowledge at all, or a cloudy knowledge at all, you see people fumbling around in whichever part of the world we find ourselves. They fumble in terms of jobs, in terms of businesses to do, without being definite and clear in their minds as to where the road to follow, the pathway to follow, so you can meet with money. That's why 10% of humans, that is the millionaires and the billionaires, realize this and discover these facts. The ability to make money, the ability to manage money, the ability to accumulate it depends 100% on these secrets, on understanding the character of money, and understanding the rules that surround money making. And there are 3 ways by which people who make so much money or who make comfortable amount of money on which they live, there are these 3 ways by which they have discovered this. Whereas the majority of the people, 90%, just fumble through trial and error. That's why it is important, if you are set to make money one way or the other, it is also pertinent that you pay attention to this. So there are 3 ways by which people come across this knowledge. It's not common. 1 is this through intuition. Some people it happens to them, it occurs to them, just get the revelation. If I do this, if I go this way, it would work. And they follow their instincts and it works. That's why we find a few millionaires here and there scattered, or billionaires. That's why what they do, what they know, are not what others know. That's why they are unique and stay in their own class. 2, some get to know these secrets about money by default. What do I mean by default? You just get up to do it because others are doing it, and incidentally, you come to fall into line with some of these secrets that gives you a push to making good your quest for money, making good money and progressing. The 3rd method is by which people gain this money knowledge is through intentional study. And that is what you are doing now. By paying attention to these courses that would follow on this channel, and perhaps in other channels that may be taught, you are intentionally discovering the secret about money that are capable of making you earn money consistently, make income, and build wealth. The next point number 6, is you need to think differently and behave in certain unique ways that will favor money making. It's not everybody who can make the plenty money that he aspires to simply by following what the beaten path, what everyone does, would give you some level of income. But if you want much of it, much more than that, then you need to behave differently. Because like somebody said, you cannot do one thing in a particular method or pattern and expect a different result. So that's the problem with us. Our parents did the tumbu titi kalaba in terms of going to fight, or like we used to say, but for money. In the quest to make money, it was a trial and error. And so they got inconsistent advantages, inconsistent gains. But if you must do something that is unique, that gives you unique amounts of money, then you have to do things in certain ways that conform with the secrets of making money. 7, you have to know what the majority of people don't know. See, there's emphasis on secret knowledge there. That's why when people go make huge money, the rest want to know how it happened. It's not magic. It's only because somehow, maybe like we have said, by intuition or by intentional study with somebody they had lived with, they get to have a peculiar idea, money idea, that leads them to discovering other things. And at the end, they apply this knowledge to money-making effort, and they stand out. So the best way to make money starts, therefore, with having the requisite knowledge of money and how it works. So, viewers, we are now going to talk about those amazing character and rules that money has. Let me pause here to acknowledge the magnanimity of my friend who has the YouTube channel Value Attainment. Some of the ideas we will be discussing here are those he graciously obliged me, so I integrate them into the points that you now need to know. So, section number 2, the amazing character and rules of money. Now, take note. For this section, we are going to discuss 10, and the balance would be discussed in our subsequent video. So 1, money is like sports. It's like a game. You need to understand, know, master the art of the game to be able to play it well. That's why those who master, it appears like they're doing nothing. Money comes to them effortlessly. No. It's like chess. It's like soccer. It's not everybody who can play to the level that you go international and make millions. No. You need to know. You need to be gifted. So point number 2, don't be hostile towards money. You don't antagonize money and then expect it to come. Money doesn't do like that. A lot of people say bad things about money, and they hate money. They criticize people who make money and say all good, ugly things about it. Tell me, if you criticize a friend or somebody you intend to be a friend, would he make himself friendly? We don't like people who talk evil against us. And so we move away. Similarly, it is with money. It is the same way with money. One has to drop that wrong Christian mentality in the idea presented by Paul in the 1 Timothy chapter 6, verses 8, 9, 10 to 11, that says, if we can be satisfied with the little we have, it's okay. That's satisfaction. If we can make a little kobo, a little dollar, a little franc, and stay by that, it's okay. It's wrong. What Paul failed to tell you is that contentment is not poverty. You can't be poor and be contented with the mountains of problems that come each day. How do you solve them? So what Paul failed to tell you is that they are genuine Christians who make good money and live good life and still maintain their holiness, their righteousness, and maintain their good conscience before God. So do not say evils against money, that the money is the root of evil. Of course, that quotation is wrong in itself. It is the love, extreme love. And in the course of these lectures, we shall see how people love money so much that it constitutes something else to them. Point number 3, money loves to be enticed. I say woo. You have to woo money like you want to woo a girl. You pamper it so that it agrees, it accepts to come. You seduce it. Look at it as being attractive, that one you would want to move along with. So if you are an investor and you need to create money, you don't have to be hostile because it will go away from you. Money loves to be multiplied. It doesn't like loneliness. It likes to have brothers, sisters, cousins, relatives. And so when money is multiplied in the hands of those who know what to do, you see, the money grows. Money grows into hundreds of thousands, into millions and billions. But when you tie your money down, it has a tendency of leaving you before you know it. Money works on multiplication. We shall explain this in future. Point number 5, money needs timing. You see, when people come across some quantity of money in the course of their businesses, and when they want to further multiply, invest it, they often make the mistake of dumping everything, particularly when the cost of the search for money is one that is unstable. You invest all the money into it, and suppose it goes awry. The business doesn't work. So what happens? That's why people have the saying, do not put all your your eggs in one basket. So you need to time when to put it to work, when not to put it. And even when you put it to work, part of which that should be kept aside. Point number 6, money hates monotony, dull moments, boredom, if you like. We can compare money to little children in the kindergarten. They have short attention span. And any good teacher must come to terms with that understanding. Something cannot entertain them for long except it is exciting. Otherwise, the attention would shift. So too with money. Money does not like being put in a bank to accumulate. It doesn't bring you money. It doesn't bring you interest. The interest rate lately is so, across the world, is so huge. The interest rate is huge for lenders. But for those who bank it, for savers, it's so little that it doesn't. So money doesn't make like a situation where it is. It likes to be multiplied. It likes to be put to work. That's why those who know the game continue to prosper. And we look and say, oh, the rich getting richer. It's the question of having to get to know what the secrets are, how they do it, the modus operandi that makes them. So if you have so much money like some of our politicians around the world, particularly in third world countries, when they use the public office to misappropriate the funds, they dump it in water tanks, they dump it in soca ways, they dump it wherever. The money stays there. After some time, they go bad. So money does not like monotony. It needs to be used by investors to turn and bring more money. So point number 7, you need to have some secret account, some hidden account, some account you put away. Why do you put away? We have talked about money, that it doesn't like to be kept dull. That is because the vicissitudes of life is there. As it is upon the health of a person, so it is upon the health of businesses. There must be some money set aside, hidden that account. Relatives don't know. They don't have to know. Why? Because they might put pressure on you to use it when it is not necessary. That is set aside for what people call the rainy day for the business. So you do not use all the money you have. Point number 8. Don't spend more on what you can spend less. Imagine you have a function to attend and the road to the destination is fine. There is a good public transport system. Why not make use of the regular public transport that you can travel with ease and comfortably? And of course, you pay less. Why go to hire a jeep in order to prove something that is not there? So in that case, you pay higher. The point with money is that don't spend more on what you can spend less. Point number 9, unfair financial advantage. There are businesses and there are ways, there are modes of businesses that give you certain advantage over others who may do what you're doing. You see, for example, people who incorporate their businesses, there is a hidden advantage there over others who do not incorporate their businesses. Those who incorporate their businesses, in case of business failure, your losses are terminated at the doors of the business only. The private things you own, the money you own, the wealth you own is not touched. And besides that, there are other businesses that you would go to and you are allowed to enjoy certain advantages that people call unfair advantage. It's not in the negative. It's only that when you discover it's a secret, you enjoy more than the rest. You see, people who have huge amount of money, investors, they invest in school, they invest in hospitals. It is government's duty to provide good health facilities, provide opportunities for education, and provide a job. Of course, it's not their main duty to do that, but to provide an environment where this is provided by non-government entities. So when you fill the gap for the government says, okay, you have provided jobs that I should help provide, but because you are helping government, all right, tax holidays, okay, so much percentage of tax you won't pay because you do this. And so that's part of the unfair financial advantage your business could have. Unless you know this, you may be paying more for the growth of your business than another person who earns much more than you, but knows what to do to pay less taxes. Point number 10, the Armageddon mindset. This is bad for big money. I have a personal story about this, though it's not a question of big money. Some years ago, when I was a teenager or an adolescent, in my early adolescence, I had finished secondary school and was about to go. I had finished my primary school and was about to get into secondary school. I loved reading. I loved education. But there was this idea of Armageddon by Jehovah's Witnesses, exactly 1975. They went discouraging their members, everyone they can scam, that the end of the world, Armageddon, was coming in 1975. There was no need improving oneself by going for higher education. There was no need for intensive effort to make money, because they refer to 1 Timothy chapter 6, verses 8 to 11. That if you find a little thing to do, that's okay. That people who go into making money give pains to themselves and this and all that. And so that was it. Anybody old enough and sincere can tell this story. I'm talking about what happened in Nigeria. I do not know if that is how Jehovah's Witnesses behaved elsewhere, but they truncated the progress of many youngsters. But as for my own case, I did a fight. I disturbed, I gave my parents sufficient trouble that they said, okay. They took me to school. And I opened the way, both for my family, for young men, young people, to go to school, to higher school, up to university, and in the church as well. So when people have this, the world will end, and so when some things don't go right and people panic, what people do is they sell their properties, which of course is wealth, at a very low rate in order for them, according to their thinking, to mitigate their losses. And those with money buy them, these assets, and then when things don't turn out like they used to think or imagine, you see, the moneyed man there makes more money, profit. So do not have the Armageddon mindset. When the little thing goes wrong, you think all is finished. Please, viewers, like this video, share it, and also subscribe so you don't miss any subsequent videos. This is where we end this first part of this lesson. In our next video, we continue. But please comment and send your suggestions to me. Always remember, College of Wealth is founded to teach you to be wealthy. See you.